Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own little bunny in Tinkercad's code blocks for Easter. If you like this project, please consider subscribing to my channel. It goes a long way towards motivating me to making new videos. That being said, let's get into it. The first thing that we'll have to do is go into Tinkercad, and we will go to our Designs page. There, we will click on Create, and we will select a new code blocks design. Once you're inside the code blocks design, we'll just go ahead and rename our design so that we can find it easily in the future, and then we can get started. The first thing that we're going to make is the ears, and in order to do so, you're going to go to the Shapes tab, and we're going to scroll down until we find a paraboloid. We'll go ahead and drag that in, and then we will go to the Modify tab, and we will drag in a Scale XYZ command. We're going to set the X scaling to be 0.3, the Y scaling to be 0.3, and the Z scaling to be 0.5. After that, we'll drag in a Move command, and we're going to set the X to be 3.5, the Y we will set to be 2, and the Z we will set to be 18. After that, we'll go back to the Shapes tab, and we'll drag in another paraboloid. This one we are going to change into a hole by clicking on this gray circle next to the color. We'll go ahead and go back to the Modify tab, and we'll drag in a Scale XYZ command, and we are going to set this one to be X of 0.3, Y of 0.2, and a Z of 0.5. Then we'll drag in a Move command, and we're going to move this to an X of 3.5. We're going to move it to a Y of 0.5 and a Z of 18. Then we are going to drag in a Create Group command. Pressing play to see our work so far, we can see the ear that we've created thus far. Now we are going to position our ear. In order to do so, we will drag in a Rotate command, and we are going to have this rotate around the Y axis, and I'm going to have it rotate by 15 degrees. Next, I'm going to drag in a Copy command, and then I'm going to drag in another Rotate command. I'm going to rotate this copy again on the Y axis, but I'm going to have it rotate by negative 30 degrees, as you can see right here. The last thing we need to do to make the ears is drag in a Move command, and we're going to move that second ear to an X of negative 6.5. With both of the ears done, we can go ahead and start working on the body and legs of our bunny. In order to make the body, we'll go back to our Shapes tab, and we'll drag in another paraboloid. We'll then go to the Modify tab, and we'll drag in another one of those Scale X, Y, and Z commands. We're going to set the scaling for the X to be 0.8, the scaling for the Y is going to be 0.7, and the scaling for the Z is going to be 1. With the body done, we can begin work on the legs. To make the legs, we will again be using paraboloids, so we'll go ahead and drag one in, and then we will need another Scale X, Y, and Z command. I'm going to set the X scaling for the legs to be 0.4, the Y scaling is going to be 0.7, and the Z scaling is going to be 0.4. We will then need to rotate our legs, and we're going to have them rotate around the Z axis, and this first leg we are going to have rotate by 30 degrees. Next, we need to move our leg into position, so I'll drag in a Move command. We'll set the X value of this Move command to be 5, the Y value to be negative 3, and the Z value to be negative 6. Now we need to make a second leg. I can right-click on our first leg and click Duplicate and add it to the bottom. Now I just need to change some of the values a little bit. I'm going to set the rotate around the Z axis. And instead of being 30 degrees, I'm going to change it to negative 30 degrees. Additionally, instead of the move command moving to an x of 5, I'm going to have it move to an x of negative 5. Now pressing play, we can see what we've made so far. There's our ear, the second ear, the body, and our 2 legs. Great. Now we can begin work on the arms. In order to make the arms, we will go back to our Shapes tab, and this time we are going to be using spheres. I'll go ahead and drag one in, and I will change the color to be white to match the rest of our bunny. After I do that, I'll drag in another scale X, Y, and Z command, and I'm going to set the X scaling to be 0.2, the Y scaling to be 0.4, and the Z scaling to be 0.5. That done, I'll drag in a move command, and I'm going to move this arm to an X of 2, a Y of negative 2, and I will keep Z at 0. The last thing to create this first arm is I will drag in a rotate command, and I'm going to set it to rotate around the Y axis, and I'm going to set it to rotate by 30 degrees. The first arm done, we can work on the second. Again, I can right-click on that first arm, select Duplicate, and add it to the bottom. Now I just need to make some small changes to the Move command and the Rotate command. I will change the Move command for the second arm so that the X value is negative 2, as you can see. And the Rotate command, I will have it rotate around the Y axis, but instead of 30, I will set it to be negative 30. Now pressing play, we can check our work again. With this done, we can also begin working on the next part of our rabbit, the head. In order to make the head, we'll go back to our Shapes tab, and we will drag in another sphere. We'll change the color of our sphere to white, and then we will go to the Modify tab, and we will drag in another one of those Scale X, Y, Z commands. We're going to set the X scaling for the head to be 0.6, the Y scaling is going to be 0.7, and the Z scaling is going to be 0.5. We will then need to drag in a Move command, and we will keep X at 0, Y we will keep at 0, and Z we will set to be 11. We will then need a Rotate command, and we are going to set our head to rotate on the X axis, but we are going to have it rotate by 30 degrees. Now we can begin working on the nose and eyes. To make the nose, we'll drag in another sphere, we'll change the color to pink, and we will click on this little arrow. In here, we are going to change the radius of our sphere to 1.5. That done, we can go to the Modify tab, and we can drag in a Move command, and we are going to tell our nose to move to an X of 0, a Y of negative 6, and a Z of 10. To make the eyes, we'll go back to the Shapes, and we'll drag in another cylinder, or another sphere, my mistake. I'm going to set the color to be black for the eyes, and again, I will click on this little arrow, and the radius I'm going to change to 1. I'll then drag in a Move command, and I'm going to move this first eye to an X of 3, a Y of negative 3.5, and a Z of 13. To make the second eye, we can right-click on the first, duplicate, and add it to the bottom of our code. And the only thing we need to do here is change the Move command. We're going to change the value of X from 3 to negative 3. Pressing play, we can see what we've done so far. the ears, the body and legs, the arms, and at last, the head, nose, and eyes. The last thing our bunny needs is a little tail. To make the tail is incredibly easy. We'll go back to our Shapes tab, and we will drag in another sphere. We'll set the color of the sphere to be white, and then we'll click on this little arrow, and change the radius to be 4. Then we'll go to the Modify tab, and we'll drag in a Move command. We're going to move it to an X of 0, a Y of 6.5, and a Z of -6. And that's it. We've completed our bunny. With this done, it's ready to print. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this project, please consider giving the video a like or subscribing to the channel so that you learn when I make more. I'm nearly at 150 subscribers, and that's a big step for me. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic Easter. Bye for now.